Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and I'm about to demonstrate the bonus level of Myth the Fallen Lords, which you get by going through a particular level exit after Sons of Mirgard. Let's get to it.
Tuesday, May 24th, Mirgard. What I record next is hearsay, though the dwarves who remained with us after Forest Heart swear by its truth. It seems impossible that they could have any knowledge of events occurring hundreds of miles away, deep in territory long held by the Ghouls, yet their conviction does not yield. I repeat here their story, and allow the reader to come to his own decision. Led by their Pathfinder, Balin, the dwarves landed in the midst of a sea of Ghouls and laid waste to them with grenades and satchel charges. But the enemy boiled like ants from their burrows in the mountain, and each one that was killed seemed to be replaced by two others. Yet at last the attacks ceased, and the dwarves found themselves masters of the bloody patch of ground where they had taken their stand. Bodies and pieces of bodies lay everywhere. A swift council followed their unexpected victory, and the survivors resolved to locate the Ghouls' ancestral stone godhead and blast it to fragments. The Ghouls have worshipped this enormous piece of unworked stone since the birth of their race, rolling its 100 tons wherever their migrations have taken them. The continued presence of the Ghouls' idol at Mirgard is a blasphemy, and to destroy it would be to spit in the face of their entire race. Now more than ever, the dwarves expected to die.
Yep, we need to find a big stone thingy and blow it up. And we get a Pathfinder again, and it is actually possible to have veterans in this level now. It wasn't possible to have veterans before because since they're airdropped in, it's very easy for them to be killed by accident, but in this level we can actually have veterans. Also, according to the narration brings up an interesting possibility, though for some reason the Pathfinder cannot be a veteran. That's a bit of a weird error. But the narration brings up an interesting concept, which is we actually might be playing through events that didn't actually happen in universe. Just kind of an interesting idea. Anyway, before we attempt this bonus level, I'm going to quick get us up a fresh recording file. So, I will be, once the dwarves stop moving, I will be back in a second. Alright, now that I have a fresh recording file, we are immediately moving off to the right. Alright, and now we're dodging a patrol that can otherwise cause us serious trouble. Now that we're off to the right, I'm separating my dwarves into groups of 2 and groups of 3. Just like I did in the previous level. This is the group that we just evaded. Yeah, you go there.
Okay.
I have all of my experienced dwarves in one group, because the strategy that you kind of have to use in order to succeed at this level pretty much requires you to use certain units as bait. And so I have less experienced dwarves grouped together for use as bait. Hopefully, I'm never going to deliberately let a dwarf die, but some of them are going to be in significantly more danger than others. And first of all, the accuracy and firing rate of the bait dwarves matters significantly less than the accuracy and firing rate of the actually killing the enemy dwarves, and thus... Okay, we're not going to catch the attention of that patrol this time, so let's reposition a little bit. And so I want the experienced dwarves to be in the actually kill the enemy position, and then the less experienced dwarves to be in the bait position. Now our first obstacle is a group of ghouls that will patrol. There's 2 groups of ghouls that will patrol back and forth along this valley.
Move here, move there.
If we just kind of wander forward, we'll wind up running into them on relatively level ground, which can be a problem.
Okay.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is hopefully get them to go after this group of dwarves who can then retreat kind of diagonally this way, so that then they'll lead them across the line of fire of this very large group who can then wipe them out. Alright, let's increase the game speed just a little bit while we wait for them to arrive, and they're here. Okay. They're going to come to the attention of... They're going to see these two dwarves. Alright. Okay. Alright, you three take out that group.
Casualties.
And yeah, this is... The bait roll is still a somewhat dangerous roll, and that can happen occasionally. Let's hope it doesn't happen next time. But still, you see how the goals fairly conveniently clumped up for me to wipe them out. That's what this strategy does. And now we're going to do it again. With the second group. Alright.
Okay.
Let's see. I want the distance to be just right. This should do it. Alright. Okay. And just keep waiting. They shouldn't see these dwarves because they don't actually get very close to them. See, they turned away from them. Alright. Take out that one. And now we retreat. One more from the Pathfinder. Come on. Okay, that is more how that is supposed to go. With nobody even taking any damage because the ghouls were spending their time focused on the wrong group of dwarves. In case you're wondering why it's been so long since I uploaded the last video, it's because this took me a few tries. Okay, a few more than a few. Honestly, I have actually been seriously considering going back someday and doing a Let's Play of this game on Legendary, though it would take me a lot longer to get done. But this level is actually one of the two levels that will be the most trouble doing that. Most of the levels I can actually manage on Legendary with just a few retries, but it's this level and one other that I really have a lot of trouble doing on that difficulty level. Also, as you can see, as I'm just kind of blithely moving forward, those two patrols were pretty much all of the enemies in this part of the map. And so I can safely just kind of wander through here. Now you will see this cave, which strongly resembles the caves from the previous level that were full of ghouls. This cave has one significant difference. It doesn't have any ghouls in it. At all. And so, I can just do this. Alright. This group up here. I think that since the one ghoul that is standing outside that cave will actually just run by us and not directly attack us, I think that he runs for reinforcements, and if he gets away, more ghouls will show up. But either way, it's very easy to kill him if the Pathfinder is still alive by this point.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Make up your mind.
Also, I don't recall if I said this during the previous part, so we'll just say it again. For the levels where I do get a game over, I'm going to edit the failed attempts together into a video and just post it as a separate video. So that it's just kind of showing things gradually falling apart for me. In addition, on this level specifically, I managed to fail a few times extremely quickly, where everything just went horribly wrong all at once. And for those failures specifically, I'm going to actually just append them to the end of this video, sort of like I did for the Dark Souls Let's Play. Alright. Now, we have another group here. This group is slightly different. If they kill all the dwarves within their sight range, they will actually retreat to pick up more pus packets to throw at us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Casualty.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is very difficult to get through that casualties because of the way that they behave. At least managed to get through them with few casualties, though. But yeah, this level is basically just a war of attrition. We just gradually lose more and more and more guys until there's nothing. Until by the time we get to the first really serious fight, there's just not enough of us left. Also, it's possible from here to see our objective. Just gonna quick run a fast-moving dwarf up here so they can get the camera a little closer. Which is this very large stone monument carved into the shape of a ghoul head with a severed dwarf head surrounding it. This is what we need to blow up. And you hear this singing, chanting chorus? Those are all ghouls. Yeah. Easily 100 of them. We are going to have to kill all of them. This will not be easy. Especially since they're not the next thing we have to fight. There are more enemies between us and the giant army of ghouls that we have to get through yet. As you can see, I've allowed my force to clump a little bit more because there's a decent trek before we get to the next fight. And I don't want to be clicking separately for each unit type. For each squad, I mean. Alright. Everybody into position. Let's go with squads of 2. The 2 experienced dwarves are going to be their own squad. The Pathfinder and our dwarf who overcame his brainwashing back in Shadow in the Mountain. It is cool that he survived and we get to have him as a veteran.
Move here, move there.
And then these 2 dwarves who are both from the previous level. Alright. Let's get everybody into position.
Okay.
Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Okay. This is not a good. This might be a good target for an airstrike, but I'm saving them for something else. Just a soulless to deal with. Alright.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, one more soulless. Come on. While I don't allow myself to do this, in all honesty, if you lose the Pathfinder in one of the first couple of skirmishes, you should probably just restart the level. His abilities are really necessary to deal with those soulless, and really those ghouls, and pretty much all of the threats we deal with later. Pretty much all of the next couple threats. There are really, broadly speaking, 2 groups of enemies left. Unfortunately, they're both very dangerous. Also, it is necessary to use satchel charges to destroy the big giant head. So, conveniently, they've left us a big pile of satchel charges here, so if we use all of the ones our dwarves are carrying to kill the enemy, we can just take these. And also, we get 3 more paratroopers.
Yes, sir.
Now let's get into position to deal with our next threat, and it allows me to demonstrate another quirk of this game. Which is, if you select a group of units who are not in the same formation as each other, so you're in a short line, you're in a long, actually I want you to switch positions. You're in a short line, Pathfinder's in a long line, you're in a staggered line, and you are in a, staggered line, this is a loose line. Anyway, so they're in different formations. When I select all of them and move them, the game will try to preserve their position relative to each other. And so you can essentially create a custom formation by putting units in several different formations and then spacing them however you want, and the game will just kind of keep them spaced that way until you actively choose a formation for them. The reason I'm doing this is because there's a group of soulless that patrol this area. Okay. Here should be good. So, first use of an airstrike. And that bounced back, and that's unfortunate. Should still hit them, though. barely. I would have liked not to have to use 2 airstrikes against this group of soulless, but I can't just ignore them, and airstrikes really are my best bet against them. I know where I want to place the projectile next time, though. Let's up the game speed again to let them cycle back through. Shouldn't go to 16x. It is possible to essentially sneak past the group of soulless, but if you do so, then when you're fighting the giant army of ghouls, it's possible for the soulless to sneak up on you. Alright. There. Come on. There. That should be it. And once again, the other issue with it is the way that it bounces is somewhat unpredictable.
Yes, sir.
But it should hit a good portion of them, and at this point I am just taking the rest of it as conventional. Come on! Especially since they don't seem to want to attack me no matter what I do to them.
Okay. Burn!
And I am going to need the other 3 airstrikes to deal with the ghouls.
What now? Okay.
Well, let's just pull back and set up another ambush then. Yeah, dealing with the soulless requires some patience. And you're now seeing both a demonstration of the fact that I'm not very good at using the airstrikes, and the reason why I sometimes just kind of don't bother trying to use the airstrikes.
Make up your mind.
Right.
What now?
Another interesting thing to note. Note that our Pathfinder has a different name this time. His name is Yari rather than Balin, and he does not have a level survived indicator up here. Yeah, our Pathfinder is a different guy. He's not a veteran of the previous level. That is not supposed to be that way. That is a glitch due to some of the mods that I have installed just to make this work on my desktop. Speaking of which, I posted a link to the website that contains all of the mods that I used to make this happen in the description of the first few videos, and I'll have a link to that website in this description as well. And the site is called tane.totalcodex.net. And I challenge any of you in my audience to figure out what specific mods I am using to make this happen. The one who succeeds will be given 1,000 Viking points, which can be redeemed at any time for nothing. But it's 1,000 points worth of nothing. Some of the best nothing money can buy. Okay. Alright, let's get this ambush going.
Burn!
Alright. One more. Just one more toss. But you see, the reason why I've created this custom formation is creating large amounts of space between the individual dwarves makes them more resistant to soulless attacks. It's not perfect. As you can see, they still took a fair amount of damage, but it works. Okay. Now for the moment of truth.
Okay. Move it.
We need to take on a giant legion of ghouls. If I were allowed to do so, I would save. I'm not. In accordance with the rules, I'm not saving. Fortunately, we can get extremely close to the enemy before... I'll switch back to Formation 1. We can get extremely close to the enemy before they notice that we're here.
Yes,
Which means we can scope things out a little bit.
Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Alright. Now, these ghouls have the same behavior as the ghouls armed with pus packets, where unless there is essentially a trail of dwarves leading in a particular direction, they won't keep following. So,
Okay.
I have a plan.
Yes.
I essentially have a human chain of dwarves leading back, with the most experienced ones in back. You stay back for now.
Move there. Yes.
Okay. Airstrike.
Make up your mind.
All of you guys retreat.
Casualty.
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Incoming. Make a hole. Okay.
Casualty.
Alright.
Incoming. Yeah.
Casualty.
Alright, so those airstrikes are going to trigger now.
Catch. Where? Move here. Move there.
Almost. Just a few more. That's it. That's all of them. We did it! We finally got him! We lost one of our veterans, we lost the Pathfinder, and we lost pretty much everybody who had any experience going into this. But we did it! And from a future campaign perspective, losing the Pathfinder isn't a big deal because we will never get another Pathfinder. But that's it. That's the end of the level, with 3 guys still alive. The main thing about dealing with that last group, I've never really found a strategy that actually allows me to minimize casualties dealing with the giant ghoul army. You'd think you could just lure them into an ambush, but the problem is if they get too far away from one of your units, they will just stop chasing you and go back into position. But you can't just kind of run back and forth, leading them a little bit, killing some of them, and then letting them return to their starting position, because they move faster than your dwarves, so once they're chasing you, they will keep moving until they catch up to the individual that triggered them, causing you to just gradually run out of guys. Ah, there's a single soulless. Let's pull the injured dwarf back and then send the uninjured ones after it.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Catch. Look out.
Please tell me. Please do. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Dude! Were you mad at him for having more kills than you? What is your problem?
Oh, yeah.
You're fired! You are so fired! Actually, eight satchel charges should do it, so let's take the satchel charges from the other guy.
What now? Yes.
And place this over here. Up the game speed while we get into position.
Okay.
Up the game speed. Oh. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be at, so we'll just leave it at that. And let's set that off. Come on. When I say attack the ground, you should do it. There we go. Well, that's a weird hitbox. Dazzling's hitbox is apparently a little wonky.
Okay.
And that's that. We broke it in half. And that is the end of that level.
Hey, we
Sure
did
took
it.
long enough.
Yay! Hooray!
That is that. And I am indeed recording. I was momentarily worrying that I hadn't hit record. According to this, we had 17 survivors. I don't know where this group of 15 dwarves that the game insists we had were. But we did it. Killed 109 ghouls, 26 soulless. The Pathfinder by himself did about half of the damage. did almost half of the damage and had almost half of the kills. That is a difficult level. I can tell why they made it optional, because it's very interesting, and ultimately it is a very fun level. It's just extremely hard. But anyway, now that I've finally managed to get this successful, I'm going to roll the outtakes, and then I'll see you next time. So as usual, this is Science Viking, signing off. I love you all. Enjoy the outtakes. And I'm wrong. Looks like we'll be fighting them.
Oh yeah. Incoming. Make a hole. Get out of the way.
Okay.
Casualties.
Get out of the way. Make a hole. Make way for the dwarf.
Casualty.
That went wrong fast. Oops. Oops. Okay. Lesson learned. Don't get too close to the patrols. I really should have known better. Oh, and there's the other patrol. Well, we know where they are now.
Look out. Whee. Look out.
Okay, that was a statement. That was a brave case of self-immolation in protest to what the ghouls are doing to our homeland. Over here, you guys get front and center. You're going to be the main event.
Yes.
And then you guys get into here. Alright. And I'm not setting satchel charges. I have had the worst luck with satchel traps this game. I mean, I'm not very good at them in general. They can be used effectively, but I'm not very good at working out when I should use them and when I shouldn't.
Okay. Burn.
So...
Get out. Make a hole. Incoming.
Casualty.
I'll take it. We only lost one this time. Yeah, I'll accept that. You can call that a success.
Mic up, you.
This level is one of two levels that will actually be probably the largest obstacle if I ever do this game on Legendary. And the other one is one that we haven't gotten to yet, but that is a similar. But the other level that will be a problem will be for a similar reason, which is that we only get one unit type. It's really hard to make certain things work with just one unit type.
Mic up, you.
You know, maybe I could be using the airstrikes for this. I'm saving them because I feel like I have trouble making the airstrikes work against fast-moving opponents, which is...
Casualty.
I'm not even sure what happened. I'm honestly not sure what just happened. Okay. Well, that happened. This is going to be another outtake. Well, see you next time, everybody.